All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have seen enough. He is him, okay? And I'm referring to Victor Wembanyama, 20-year-old, fresh 22. That sounds crazy. Don't take that the wrong way. 20-year-old rookie from the San Antonio Spurs, number 1 overall pick of last year's NBA draft. What he is doing and how good he is out the gate is something that I think a lot of people are truly afraid to talk about because of the fact that there's been this counter movement in the NBA community lately of not putting too much pressure on young players, which I wholeheartedly agree with. We've seen so many rookies be called busts, not meet expectations, disappoint us, honestly because of the fact that we just overhyped them going into said draft. Put these crazy expectations on them, and then when they don't meet these expectations, they then get labeled a bust. So there's been this counter movement of, yo, let's relax. You know what I'm saying? Let's calm down. He hasn't done much yet. You know, give him some time. There's other points of as well of. Or other examples as well of rookies coming in and going crazy and us, labeling them as him, next up, he's going to be the next GOAT. And then when they don't, 4 or 5 years down the line, then we start going at them. I think a perfect example of this right now is Jason Tatum, right? So much was made of him in his first 2 years in the league. He's next up, he's him. He's the future of the league, this, that, and the third. He's going to be one of the faces, a perennial MVP candidate, all of this. And now here we are 7 years into his career, and there's been so many conversations about, yo, he's a fraud, he's not all that. So, long story short, people have been afraid to set high expectations on players for so many different reasons. And Victor Wembanyama is not an exception to that. Coming in at 7'4", 19 years old, looking lanky as shit. A lot of people, there were two sides of the coin. There were the people who bought into the hype, saying he's really him, and there's the other side that wanted to be way more skeptical than they needed to be, and didn't really believe him. But so far, to understand, we are only. Not only, but I understand that his rookie season isn't even over. What everyone has been seeing so far, if anything, has exceeded a lot of people's expectations. Maybe not at Ticket TV, and that's not a shot at Ticket, but I used to watch Players' Choice a decent amount going into the season, and Ticket was expecting 27 points a game from Vic. I wouldn't go as far as that, but I can only go off of my expectations right now. And going into the season, what I expected from Vic was 14 to 15 points a game. I was expecting 6 to 7 rebounds because there was a lot of conversations about him not being able to crash the boards. He likes to leak out. He's not a guy that's going to bang down there and get a lot of rebounds. And 2 blocks. You know what I'm saying? Like 1.7, 1.8 blocks a game. He shattered those expectations, dog. He has shattered those expectations. And you can even make the case that even right now, these stats don't do him justice because of the fact that he is still being misutilized on the San Antonio Spurs. So, for those who don't know, 51 games into the season, these are his stats, and it's looking like they can only go up from here. We're looking at 20.6 points, so 20 to 21 points a game. We're looking at 10 rebounds a game. We're looking at 3 assists a game, which low-key is kind of underrated when it comes to this whole discussion. He's getting you a steal, and he's getting you 3.3, already leading the league, 3.3 blocks a game. And that is not a fake 3.3. That is not just him hunting for blocks. He is a skilled shot blocker who knows how to time his blocks. And fuck him actually blocking shots. You can definitely feel a difference defensively when Victor Wembanyama is and isn't on the court. You know what I'm saying? People avoid Vic when he's in the paint, and rightfully so. 7'4" with that wingspan. Very easy for him to get blocks. And shout out to Hoop Venue, because I actually was watching a Hoop Venue video going into this video, and my God, there was such a difference between Vic being on the court and not being on the court defensively. Like, it's absolutely insane. But what I want to talk about is, now that we have a bigger sample size of what Vic is, now that we have a decent sample size as to what type of player Vic wants to play like, I want to talk about exactly how good this guy can really be in his prime, what his trajectory could be down the line, what type of player we're dealing with. Because, again, I understand we shouldn't be placing these expectations on so many players so often, but the expectation of this dude having GOAT potential, the expectation of this dude being a top 10 all-time great, the expectations that well, not really expectations, but the potential of this dude being all of these conversations. He's one of the few that actually deserves it, and he's one of the few that is already showing you why he is headed in that trajectory. Because, again, I need y'all to understand, 21, 10, and 3. That's with him playing 29 minutes a game. That's with him arguably being misutilized, and that's with him being a rookie, 19 years old, coming into the league. I need y'all to understand that. That is absolutely tremendous. That is insane. That is insane. So let's talk about just next year. The things I'm looking from Victor is improved and more consistent three ball, for one. So far this season, he's averaging 5 threes a game. If he can get that up to like 35, 36, 37%, that would be fantastic. What I've seen so far this season is Vic get a lot of open looks at the three. And maybe they're not even open. It's just, I know, because of his length and wingspan and how tall he is, like, not a lot of people can contest a Victor Wembanyama pick and pop. So if he just works on his shot, works on spot up shooting, works on pick and pop shooting, in the offseason, get that up to 35, 36, oh my God, he's a completely different player. Oh my goodness, he's a completely different player. Aside from that, obviously, building up his frame, gaining more muscle, that is definitely still in play when we're talking about a 19, 20-year-old. And the fact that he is already this effective with his frame is absolutely insane. I'm not expecting a Giannis build-up when it comes to Vic. I'm definitely not expecting that. I'm not expecting even I'm not expecting a Joel Embiid glow-up from Victor Wembanyama. But, just get some more muscle on you, so you can't be moved out the paint as easily when you're facing a Anthony Davis or a Jokic. And even then, like, I've seen him hold his own relatively well. Again, for everything considering what he is right now, those are the things that I want from him to improve on. And then in terms of on-ball creation, I'm gonna be honest with you. Anything else? Any improvement from on-ball creation to me is like a cherry on top of already what Vic can provide. Because Vic literally just being a lob threat, spot up 3-point shooter who is already one of the best rim protectors in the league. That is already such a valuable player. But if he can improve his on-ball creation and become a guy you can depend on in isolation, and sort of like what Kristaps is, bro, but on steroids, because he can actually put the ball on the floor and like huss you up, bro. That's a scary player. That's a scary player. But in terms of his second, boy, if he gets Trae Young, oh my God, bro. Listen, I understand Laker Nation wants to see Trae Young. Well, maybe not even necessarily Laker Nation. I understand, like, those rumors are flying around, but if we pair one of the best pick and roll point guards of all time, because I will go that far with Trae Young already. I think he is one of the best pick and roll facilitators of all time, with a guy who has the potential to be the best pick and roll partner of all time. Boy, that's gonna be a sight. And timeline-wise, I understand Trey's been in the league for 6 years now. I think this is his 6th year. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, this is his 6th year. At the end of the day, Trey is still 25. That's a 5-year gap between Vic and Trey Young. So from a timeline perspective, like Trey still has, I would still consider Trey a relatively young player, and I would I understand this is a leap. I would just like to see the gap between Michael Jordan and Scottie when Scottie came into the league. So, Scottie Pippen, he came in 88, 87, 88. Jordan was 24. Scottie was 22. I mean, this was when motherfuckers were coming in at 22, so that might be a bad comparison. But even, let's say Kobe, by the time they were three-peating, 21, 22, 21, 22, 23. We're looking at, my bad, y'all. We're looking at Shaquille O'Neal during that time span, and Shaquille O'Neal during that first three-peat was 27, 28, 29. So that's perfect right there. So I don't think, essentially what I'm trying to see is that if there's a timeline clash, I don't think there's going to be a crazy timeline clash when Trey Young is 29 and Wemby is 24. Like that's prime. That's perfect right there. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God! Like if that happens, that's crazy. That's crazy. If I'm the San Antonio Spurs, I don't necessarily know how many picks they have right now, but I am willing to throw a lot at Atlanta to get Trey Young. I'm being so serious. I would much rather take a chance at Trey Young. They're gonna have a good pick in this year's draft. Let's get some more wing depth, because I think in this year's draft, if there's anything that this year's draft has, is a decent amount of serviceable wings. Maybe not franchise cornerstone players, because I've heard this year's draft has there's not a lot of superstar potential in this draft. But if I'm the San Antonio Spurs, I don't need that. You know what I'm saying? I need pieces that are gonna come in and fit what we got going on. Let's throw a lot at Trey Young. Hell, if Atlanta believes this draft they can find their future cornerstone, you can have our pick. We can have Trey Young. All right. But nevertheless, if they can make it work to the point where they can keep the pick and get Trey Young, let's get Trey Young. Let's get a serviceable wing that fits the timeline of this team that has a lot of potential. I'm not even looking for a shot creator at this point. I'm looking for a solid 3-and-D guy that can rebound well in this draft. And let's ball it up. But when it comes to Vic, next year, I think getting Trey Young, that's too much of an assumption right now. I can see Vic next year leaping from 21 to 24 or 25 points a game. I can see Vic, the rebound staying at 9, 10, maybe 11 rebounds. And I can see the block staying at 2.7 to 3.3. And honestly, that doesn't even have to do with improvement skill-wise from Vic. They literally just need to up his minutes to 34 or 35. I would like to see what his numbers look like, because I understand per 36 is a flawed metric, but per 36 already he's averaging 26 and 13 and 4 blocks. You know what I'm saying? I understand it's not a one-to-one correlation given fatigue and everything that comes with upping someone's minutes, but very easily next season, if they up this up to 33, 34 minutes a game, properly utilizing with the offseason work, with the offseason's worth of improvement, I can see Vic averaging 25, 12, 25, 10, and 3, right? On let's say this goes up to 48, this goes up to 34, this stays at 81. And at that point, the conversations get scary. The second-year player, take second-year player away from it. That skill set, those stat line, that production coming from a player, is that not a top 15 player, top 10 player? If I told you today someone is averaging 25 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks. Is that not already a top 10, top 15 player? And we're talking about a second-year player who's about to be 21 years old. That is insane, y'all. Very far away from his peak. Very, very far away from his peak. This is all again, knock on wood, barring health, barring good health from this guy's career. But even then, like, rookie season with all of these discussions about load management, the 65 game rule, Vic has still played 51 games, and has he missed any game? I mean, he's missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I understand he's not playing 33, 34 minutes a game, but the fact that in his rookie season, with questions about his strength and getting pushed over and all of that, and, you know, already the conversations about his height being slow-footed and all of that, for him to only miss 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games, that's great to see, bro. That is fantastic to see. And in terms of his play style too, I said going into the season, you know, there's 2 lanes Vic can go in. He can either go the Giannis route or the KD route. He can either be one of the most elite paint presences in the league if he builds up his slashing ability, if he builds up his muscle, if he builds up his frame, he can go down that route. Or he can be KD on steroids in terms of KD, the whole appeal with him is perimeter play from a very tall player. He can provide you that at a more extreme degree, low key. Maybe not the exact handles that KD has, but, you know, a little bit less, while having a tougher shot to guard because he's 7'4". Right? I'm at a point where fuck all of that. Like, Vic is a one-on-one. Vic is a one-on-one. Vic is a dude who you can't really compare him. You can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, who does he play like? What is his archetype? I think we're going to look down in history and say Vic is his own archetype. He doesn't really fit a mold of someone because we've never seen someone like him. You know what I'm saying? From possession to possession, hell, from like even a progression of a possession, he can play that KD role, and within a split second, he could be one of the biggest lob threats in the league, and he's looking like Rudy Gobert out there, looking like, you know what I'm saying? Looking like shit. I don't even know. Shaquille O'Neal. I know that's extreme, but I'm just talking about a elite paint presence. He could be that. So I think he is low-key a coach's dream and a coach's worst nightmare, because this is a dude that there is no mold, there is no blueprint. He will be the blueprint. I know that sounds dick suck, but these are the lengths I'm willing to go to with Vic already, bro. And in his prime, if his second year in the league is going to be 25, 10, and 3, I could legitimately see Vic, if he's on a team where like he has to have a lot of offensive load, a lot of offensive responsibility, I could see Vic legitimately having like a 30, 33. Yeah, 33 points a game, 13 rebounds, 4 blocks type of dude in his prime. This is what we're dealing with. This is what San Antonio potentially has. And even if he's on a team where, you know, the point spread is more evenly spread out, similar to like what JT has right now, where because of the fact that his team is so talented that he can't, you know what I'm saying, it's harder for him to drop 35 because he doesn't have to. That's a whole different conversation for a whole nother day. I understand that. But even if that's the scenario, I could still see him in that scenario still being a 27, 10, and 3 guy. And I even think like he's the type of player where he doesn't need to average 27 for you to see his value. You know, just him being that 24, 25, improving as a rebounder, improving his shot blocking, and improving his efficiency. Like, you should be able to see how effective he is. Like, that is insane. Also, apologize for the dryer in the background. I fucking hate this apartment. That's where we're moving now in a couple months. But yeah, bro, let me know what y'all think about Victor Wembanyama, what he can be, because I'm excited for the future of the league. And we're looking at the future faces of the league 5-6 years down the line, not necessarily in the immediate future, because I still think that honestly Luka's already in that conversation, but that still belongs to LeBron, that still belongs to Steph Curry while they're still great, that still belongs to a Jokic, to a Giannis, and to a JT to a certain extent. But if we're talking about 2029, 2030, like Luka, Vic are the main two in that conversation for me in terms of Anthony Edwards. Luka, Vic, and Ant, they are primed to be the next faces of the league for real. But with that being said, let me know what y'all think. And I'm out, man. Peace.